Baby, what's good? What's popping? You know, for whatever reason, from the powers that be, they told me I should stop saying that it's another day in this wretched country. That we were looking for a sponsor, so we should stop saying that. There's no sponsor, so I'm gonna say it. It's another day in this wretched country, and I'm gonna clap for myself because, as y'all know, if you don't clap for yourself, who's gonna clap for you? If you can hear my voice. If you can hear my voice, you are listening to Jess, popularly known as Jess Finesse, and we're on yet another episode of Jess Finesse Presents. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I just came back from Kenya, and it was such a lovely experience. And imagine going to such a lovely place like Kenya and then coming back to your own Lagos, and it's just like, why am I here? But I'm here to make money. I'm here to hustle. I'm here to do what it do. And I'm here to do what it do with a very special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, not boys and girls because we cuss on this podcast, but people of all genders, all races, all nationalities, you are welcome. And we are here to welcome the one, the only Tim Lyre. What's poppin'? How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain.
I asked you this off the podcast, but I want to ask you this on the pod. So you put up here by yourself, solo dolo, on your ones, right? And I said, okay, where's your entourage, right? Because you artists like to move like you are going to war. So I'm like, okay, this, simple guy, nice fit, just put up. I mean, I've always seen you as a chill, simple guy. And I've seen you out and about, but like this is you coming to my territory. And I'm like, okay, where's your squad? Where's your goons? Where's your, your if anything's about to pop off, I have, my people behind me. I asked you if you move with entourage. You said it depends.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, how many people do you move with? You said you can move from a range. You can move with people in numbers of ranges from like 3 people to 15 people. Then I asked you, I said, okay, on what occasion do you know when to pull up with 3 people or 15 people? And I want you to explain to my family, the Finesse family, the Finesse Presents family, how you know when to pull up with 3 goons to an event or to a spot versus 15.
Okay, the first thing I'll tell you is like, you definitely don't plan when it gets out to hand. Like when I'm starting to have more than 10 people, then it's not planned to have more than 10 people. Because sometimes it's like I'm moving with like Chop Life Crew, for example.
Okay.
So
ooh, shout out to
nice like that. Yeah, nice like that. We may have like 30 people at the end of the night. Like,
no, but who orchestrates this? Like, is it a manager? Is you that's telling my guy? Oh my God, when they pull up. Oh.
Okay, so I have my manager. He'll probably pull up with like a couple people, right?
Who are the people your manager's pulling up with?
They're friends as well. Like they're like friends from like work. I
but
guess.
Are they your manager's friends or your friends?
Both, like, because my manager is someone I've known for a long time.
Okay.
So it's like they'll probably just pull up for moral support. Let's say that's what it is.
Okay. So your managers
and then
group of people.
Yeah, and then maybe like I have my own friends as well who want to come. So maybe like 3 or 4 people.
How do you determine the friends you allow to come with you as entourage to certain places?
It kind of depends. Like I don't like. It's usually just whoever is around or who wants to like But also like sometimes I just don't want to go anywhere with like as many people.
Okay. So
I could just tell everybody no.
What happens when the friends that you invite go and invite their own friends?
Then like you're doing too much. Like
okay. What happens when you're at a performance for a show and the allotted number of tickets they give you is like 5, but you've already informed or whatever for whatever reason 15 people are like, I'm going with Tim Lyre to this show. How do you know how do you do process of elimination?
I mean, a lot of the time I would tell my manager to handle it.
God.
Because like, I'm sorry, like I know we spoke about this before the podcast, but I'll tell him to handle it because like, I definitely do not want 15 people to come here with me. So like, I don't know how we're going to like figure it out. But
you're on Jess Finesse Presents. Very simple concept. I invite interesting people or allow my producer or people to recommend interesting people for me to interview. Yes. There's 2 sets of people. People I've met like in the industry or in the real world. And then they come on, or people I've never met before. So you fall in line with like people that I've met before, right? But we've never had any deep conversation. Like everything has been by proxy of like just industry stuff, and we just know ourselves. So it'd be really cool to get to hear what you have to say and kind of like pick your brain, your personality and stuff on the podcast. So we got different topics and we got them on my handy dandy hand fans. All right. So as we talk about these topics, we got to do it over a very important meal. All right.
Yes.
This thing on the table is my holy grail. All right. If not for this thing, there would not be nothing like Jess Finesse Presents. As in, when we were planning this podcast, this thing was an integral part in why I even decided to even say, okay, you know what? I'm going to come out of podcasting hibernation. Let's do this. Right? And the reason why I choose this lovely grain on the table, this lovely cereal, apparently Gary can be considered a cereal. I just learned that on this podcast.
That's interesting.
Very interesting. I didn't know it either until I came here.
It's news to me.
Is that it's a food or a meal that cuts across like all socioeconomic classes. Yes. Like if you're rich, you can drink Gary. If you poor, if you're looking for 2K, let me not say poor. If you still hustling for your 2K, if you're waiting for your big break, if your big break don't come and you already blown, anybody can drink this thing here. And if you don't drink it, you a hater. Because there's a few guests that have come on my podcast that's like, oh, we can't drink Gary. I love y'all still.
Why now?
Yeah, but yeah. So
as an Ijebu man, I can appreciate this. Like,
as you said, Ijebu, I already know the one you're going to pick.
No, of course, like there's no way I can't be drinking yellow Gary. I'll be shaming my tribe.
So wait, hold on. If you were of a different tribe, would you drink yellow Gary?
Maybe, but we'll never know.
We'll never know, Abby. Damn. Okay, well, so far for asking white or yellow, because my guy already...
You've never had white?
No,
so you never had yellow?
I've never drunk it. Like, I've eaten, like, I actually feel like so the Eba is, like, better, like, than the white one.
Have you used white Gary for Eba before?
Yes, like, I prefer the yellow Eba, actually. Like,
we need to
change.
Like,
when you're drinking Gary, I just can't, like, my brain can't just handle it.
Is it Ministry of Agriculture or something? Who do we need to talk to change the PR of yellow Gary? That yellow Gary is also safe to drink. Because that makes it seem like it's dangerous to drink. Like, oh my God, I would die if I drink yellow Gary.
I just have never tried
Damn.
it. Do you know, for the sake of your podcast, I'm going to try it.
I said, let me do it for you. Let's go.
Like, this is a first in history.
May your album get 1 million streams.
Amen.
If it's not there already, get one.
It's over 2 million.
It's over 2 million.
I need to wash my mouth out with soap. How can I disrespect?
I had to like search my brain as well to realize.
It's going to be 3 million by the end of this month. Amen. All right, you drinking yellow today. Okay, so assuming this was white, which thank God it's not going to be today, what do you use to supplement your Gary?
Granules usually.
Okay.
You know, I'm very simple. I don't like all these extra things like milk.
As in Ijebu man, I mean.
Like, see, you're just desecrating.
So this is a pattern because you're not the first person that they came to Jess Finesse Presents as an Ijebu person and said all they put in their Gary is Gary and...
Yes, because like Ijebu people are like world renowned for Gary. Like this is a known fact across Nigeria. Like,
so do you like stick your nose up at those of us who be putting Gary?
No. See, I mean, do what you have to do, but I'm just saying like we that actually know about Gary.
You signed with independent label Outer South last year. So first of all, let's clap for that. Congratulations. It's not beans to be signed. It's not beans to be recognized, identified, someone to take interest in you, and then say they want to invest in you in the way they be doing in this music industry. So I think my questions are, how did that come about? And then this one is a more like advice question. What do you feel like artists should look for in record labels before they agree to sign with them?
Yeah.
So wherever you'd like to start.
I would say, how did it come about? So let me start there. I met the head of the label. His name is Adam.
Okay.
Shout out to Adam.
I know Adam. I know Adam by proxy of River Race.
So I had met Adam like a few years back through just music distribution.
Okay. Like how you met him physically or like on the internet?
On the internet.
Okay, like, shout out to the internet.
Yeah, shout out. So it's like we were talking through emails a lot. And so I guess he had just always like kept up with my music. And so when he had the idea for Outer South, because it's like his like passion project, I guess he always wanted to like, go into the label thing properly. And I was the first artist he approached to do it. And so he was like,
okay, man, look at you, pioneer.
Yeah, so it was like, for the both of us, it was like, we're kind of going into this, like, knowing like it's the first on both ends.
Okay, so I have a question. How did you determine that Adam, I mean, we're not giving that much context about Adam because like, I mean, it's deep. Like, I don't know how I'll start explaining to you guys who Adam is, but I don't know if he still works with Afro-fusion. Does he still work with them?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this distribution company called Afro-Fusion, and Adam, works with them in a very, large capacity.
Yeah.
And then he now says, okay, let him start. He wants to start his own label. So I think the question I want to ask you is, how do you determine the people that reach out to you? How do you determine who has your best interest, who's a culture vulture? Like, I want to know that. Because anybody can just DM me like, hey, bro, I love your music, bro. Like, oh my God, you're so talented. Oh my God. Or maybe let me even juxtapose it to myself. Like, oh, you're such a great photographer. You're such a this. You're such a this. I would love to manage you. I would love to sign you. How do you determine? What are red flags? What are green flags you find out? Or you figure out in people that reach out to you saying they want to work with you?
For me, usually, like... Because I've had like a lot of these conversations.
I can imagine so. You're talented, so I can imagine.
I've had a lot of these conversations. So for me, it's usually just like I have to just find out who's like actually really listening to my music. Like,
so how do you do that? Do you quiz them? Like, what year did I drop Senpai?
But I kind of can tell from like the first few conversations we have. Like, it's just you just have to like be able to pick up on certain things. Like if all you're talking about is like, all the things you've done for so artist and so artist. I'm like, bro, that's like incredible and amazing, but I am not so artist.
But doesn't apply to you.
Big facts.
Exactly. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like, at the end of the day, I feel like it's whatever situation that would be best for you as an artist to like, improve and grow and evolve. Like, that's the best thing. That is what you should be looking for in any sort of record label. Like,
what is advice that you give to artists when they're looking at a record label that wants to sign them, to help them know if they should sign with that label or not?
It's like I was saying, like I feel like it should be about what that label can do for you as an artist. Like, I feel like you already know what level you currently are at, like, and you know where you want to get to as well. Like, that's another thing. Like, you should have a goal in mind as an artist. Like, it's like any other job, like anybody does. Like, you should want to improve and evolve. Like I said, so like I feel like it's about finding that situation that allows you to like grow the best with whatever music you're already currently making. That's why I was saying like it's very important for me that the person had actually listened to my music, because me, I don't really know how to like fake a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like I'm not going to change like the music I've already been making.
Imagine someone comes to you and is like, oh, I've heard your music, but I want you to start making Afro, like, and get Afro pop.
Do you get? So it's like I would like. I mean, I don't think I'm going to compromise on certain things. So it's like, yes, you should be able to like just make sure like it's something that doesn't like that doesn't take away from the value of what you already have, because the only reason you're having this conversation with this person is
because you liked their music in the first place, or you saw something in their music in the first place.
So they should only be wanting to help you improve on that. Or
has that ever happened to you, where they ask you to change your sound?
A lot of times, like, yeah.
What does Tim even look like doing? I don't know what they told you to make, Chad, but I can't imagine you making any sound other than the sound. You're not saying that you're not diverse and that you can't branch out, and like in 2 years, how you like it? Can I do drum roll before you give you? Hold on.
No, it's actually like this. I'm not even going to.
Damn, like, some haters in the building are gonna hate some more. David, did you hear that?
No, that's my dad.
Did you hear that? He said it's not even that bad. He said Yellow Gary is not even that bad. Give me ticket. I'll become a promoter for your show. Next show you have, I will do give away with tickets. Okay, so sorry I interrupted you to hear your verdict, and I'm so happy at your verdict.
Yeah.
But he was asking you, has anyone ever told you to come and change your sound?
Yeah, a couple times. Like, I've been in like negotiations where it's like they already have like a formula, I guess, and so they're like, look, I'll put you with this producer. Facts. And you will do this Facts. Amount of songs, you do X things, and it's like,
the machine.
That's cool. But like, I don't think I will be able to like deliver
Facts.
The best of what I'm trying to do. So, let's just go our separate ways.
You said you should look for labels and see what labels can do for you. Half of these labels say they can do heaven and earth for you.
Yes.
And then they cannot do heaven and earth for you. So, and I hope you don't look at this as me like being stubborn or trying to put you on the spot, but like, how do you, in your own experience, how do you determine that, okay, this label is saying I can do this, I can play this and this and this and this. How do you determine, or how did you believe or trust that Outer South would do that for you? Let me not use other labels. Let's use a label you signed.
I guess you kind of have to also do your own research to an extent. Like you do, and you shouldn't just go into any situation like, without having some knowledge of what's going on the other side, I feel like. So it's like, at least, like you said, like I already knew Adam from this distribution, and so I know like he's someone who works in these like circles.
So did you look at his work with Afro-Core and be like, yeah, I like what Afro-Core is doing, so I believe that because he works at Afro-Core, then he must know what he's talking about with Outer South.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say that was the sole reason as well. I feel like that was definitely like a plus. The fact that I feel like he had worked in the industry for so long was definitely a plus.
Facts.
But like I said, it's like I felt like he was genuinely interested in helping like Tim Lyre as an artist. Like one of the first ever emails he sent to me was like actually just breaking down like a lot of my songs and like the music, and it was talking about songs from like when I was on SoundCloud. And so I'm like, okay,
Facts.
You actually went to go listen to a lot of my music before. Like you're not just coming to like meet me to say like let's do one.
And to Adam's like, I don't want to say to Adam's defense, but like shout out to Adam, because I remember when your music was dropping and he was reaching out to me, he was sending me press releases. He really believed in you. Like when he speak about you, you know that it's not like, oh, I just got one black kid from Africa that I'm just gonna use because Africa is hot right now and I just want to invest in him. Like he really actually believed in the sound.
Okay, in your 2018 interview with ABN Radio UK, you mentioned that it took a while for you to find confidence as an artist. What could make a formerly trained musician such as yourself harbor self-doubt? It's a good question. I don't know. I feel like everybody can relate to like, stuff like that. It's like, it's the classic like imposter syndrome kind of thing. It's like you've been doing something for so long, and even if you feel like you're getting better at it, or if you feel like you've gotten to a level where, you should be more.
But this is the thing. For like some people, maybe like, okay, boom, producer, can't play instruments. They can feel like, okay, because I can't do this, am I really a producer? But then you can play guitar, keys, bass guitar, organ. You can sing, you can write songs. So what was
the thing?
Yeah, what was the thing?
I think for me, it was just the fact that things were taking so long. Because, like, I mean, maybe for a lot of people who maybe have just found my music now, I am a new artist, which, like, I understand, like, perfectly.
You're always going to be a new artist to somebody.
Yeah, so it's like, but, like, realistically, I've been, like, putting music out since, like, 2012. So it's like, in my mind, it's like I've been doing this long enough to have, like, done certain things. Or at least that's how I felt at the time. So it's like, yeah, man, you go through those, like, motions sometimes where it's just like, maybe I should, be doing something else. But, you just have to bring yourself back.
I think there's multiple things to unpack in the question and your response, right? Before I even do that, you said formerly trained. You went to school for music?
Yes, like from when I was young, I had been taking like all sorts of like music exams and things. Are your
parents into music?
I come from like a long line of choir masters and organists.
So what, you were singing in the church, Abby?
Yeah.
And when you're in fact, they're put you in the front. Oh, Timmy, go and sing this thing. Go sing this solo. Go and sing this solo. Yeah. And you was killing it. Okay. Now I see the context to your question. Now, so the first thing that resonated with me very deeply is how you said you have, like, you can be doing a skill or like be doing something for a very long time and it's just not popping off for you. And then it finally, like, you're finally in the spotlight. You're finally getting these opportunities and then you're kind of like second guessing yourself like, wow, like, am I really as good? Like, I'm here. This don't make no sense. Like, I was doing this for 7 years. Maybe doing it for fun, doing it casually. Now I'm doing it professionally. Am I equipped enough? Am I worthy enough? Am I confident enough to do this thing in this, in this professional manner? I know I suffer that. I'm suffering that as of like even now. Like I am like this. Like with all the different, things I do, I'm like, okay, they're picking up traction and it's like, what happens when the spotlight is not on you? You don't want to shy away like, no, I'm not ready. Or, oh, it's not perfect yet. Oh, it's not to this level yet before the world starts seeing it and stuff like that. So I deeply resonate with what you said regarding that. And then just sitting there, like, we all go through this. Like, no matter, dare I say, maybe Beyonce be having, like, imposter syndrome. I don't know.
No,
She don't show it.
She probably has felt it at some
like,
point.
There's some times where she's just like, bro, am I... Okay, let's even use till now. This is just speculation. This is just discussion for the podcast. I'm not saying I know this stuff. But she decided to take a really huge, leap and drop this house, song, this house-inspired single that she just dropped. Kind of maybe foreshadowing that her upcoming album is going to be very influenced by this genre that is popping up, since Amapiano and now house is getting this, flowers and stuff. Excuse me. It's global flowers. Who's to say she wasn't in the studio like, guys, should we really drop this? Like, I know I'm like an award winning.
I can't pay for it.
Like, should we really drop this thing that is very completely left of field from Single Ladies and Lemonade and, Black is King? So we all go through this, right?
Yeah.
So I think if anyone hears this, our conversation, just knowing that if you feel like that, understand that almost every single person feels like that, and that it's not uncommon, and you can work through it and understand that, like, a lot of times our thoughts are not reality. Like, it can be your reality because you're the one feeling it and thinking it, but in the outside world, in the grand scheme of things, it's not your reality. Imagine you telling me you're not confident as an artist, but I've seen you perform. I've heard your music. The music don't sound like someone that's not confident, and I've seen you perform. And even though you're a reserved person, it doesn't look like lack of confidence that's doing you when I'm seeing you perform. So it's an internal thing and it's a personal thing, but it doesn't have anything to do with how the outside world perceives you. So yeah, that's dope. It says recently, Nigerian artists have been catching heat for their performances. For example, Benson's most recent Afro Nation performance. So the question is, what do you think makes a great performance, and what steps do you take to cater to your audience? What's your take, or what's your opinion on the fact of Benson's performance at Afro Nation?
I saw that video. It was tough. I don't know how.
I love how you said it was tough.
Yeah, like I can't really defend. It's like I saw, like, because who was it? There was a video on Twitter as well. There was a girl on Twitter who was talking about these artists as well. Like, she mentioned, and I saw, like, Omale reply to her.
A lovely light-skinned, like, probably non-Nigerian.
Omale replied that it was like, oh, the Afro Nation, they apparently had problems with the mic and all these things, and they had a lot of sound issues. I'm like, okay.
Not the Lamba now.
Okay, that's fair.
And the Lamba, which number? Nobody, they can never, I've never, he cannot answer as eloquently and in a thread, and even telling her, I give you VIP passes for the next show. He cannot do that for one of us.
No.
Oh, wait, is that what
he did it? He answered a light-skinned, foreign, probably non-Nigerian,
like,
foreign thing. Yeah, saying that, oh, don't worry, next show, I give you VIP.
He said he'll give her VIP pass.
that she should hit him up. Meaning that he's encouraging her to DM him. If any of us try to DM Omale, what's the likelihood he's going to respond to any of us? Anyway, continue.
No, that's funny. I didn't know you do that. But I think some artists need to do better, because, like, at the end of the day,
not I think so. No.
A lot of artists need to do better, because the thing is, a lot of these people, they've listened to your songs over and over and over again. So if I come to your show, like, I probably don't want to listen. I don't want to be there for the God knows how long I'm going to be there, and you're putting the mic in my mouth the whole time to sing the song for you.
Right.
Come on.
Man.
So it's like, I think a lot of the time artists just, like, go on these stages and they'll just do the bare minimum, because it's like, at the end of the day, I know I'm going to get my check or whatever. But, like, you still owe it to your fans at the very least. Even if you don't necessarily, like, care about any other thing, like, you should care about, like, the fans, like, that appreciate your music that much to be there for you. So it's like, me personally, I don't know how other artists operate, but me personally, I take my time to, like, rehearse and, like, and do all these things before performance.
So are you the type that, like, can be in the mirror with, like, a hairbrush and be, like, doing vocal exercises and actually performing your tracks?
Maybe not necessarily in the mirror with the hairbrush, but, like, yes, I would. Like, there'll be times when it's just me and maybe just in the car or, like, just in a room, just, like, going over, like, songs and things like that, just so I can be on, especially if, like, I have a performance. Like, Okay, you're a multi-instrumentalist, engineer, producer, and singer.
Songwriter.
Sorry. Forgive us, bro. How do you balance that?
Yeah, it's a lot sometimes, but I think you just I'm a lot better with like sharing my time, between all these things. Before, I feel like I was just trying to just do as much as I could.
Right.
Because again, I was always just going to find a way to work in the music industry. So I wanted to like have like a wider skill set than most people anyways.
Chill. So are you saying that you're saying in order for me to infiltrate this industry, let me just be as talented as hell in every single thing. So the one that hits, that's what I'm going to
literally, that was my thoughts initially. That was how I was thinking initially. Like, look, like I feel like the more I do, the better a shot I have, basically. That was my initial thinking.
Okay. So now, let me ask you, now that you've entered, by proxy of being a performing artist,
yes,
do all the other ones go to the back burner?
Not necessarily, no, because it's like, for something like production, for example, something I've always done and I probably will still always do. It's just, I feel like now I just have to prioritize my own time a lot more than I had to before.
Okay.
Because now I'm actually an artist doing artist things, like a performing artist doing like my own like thing as well. So it's like now I have to just kind of prioritize my time a lot more than I would before.
Which of these skills are suffering the most because you're a performing artist?
Funny enough, I would say it's the production. I wouldn't say it's like suffering in the sense that I don't know how to produce.
You suck now. You still know how to produce, but like you probably not a producer for as many people.
Yeah, like,
do you promote that you are a producer like that now?
Yeah, I do promote it a lot more now. But like it's just at some point there I was just like so busy like recording and like doing, and there was a point where I didn't even have like I was just like mixing, like doing engineering work. I was just doing a bunch of like mixing and mastering for people. Like I was mixing Alo's album, I was mixing Mojo stuff, I was mixing, and this was for like 3 to 5 months at some point. And so like a lot of things just kind of took the back burner. And then when I started dropping the album stuff as well, I kind of just focused on that as well. So like, but it's something where it's like once I get into the studio and get into a flow, like it usually just kind of goes from there. So
okay, so even though I feel like maybe you've answered it within your amazing response, give me one pro and one con of being a multi-hyphenate.
I think the pro is definitely the fact that you have a lot to offer. I feel like when I end up in rooms with other artists and just other collaborators, it's like there are a lot of different ways in which I could help. So it's like, that was definitely the major pro.
Okay.
The con would be, sometimes you can't focus.
Okay.
Because it's like you're trying to do too much. So I'd say if you ever find yourself in that situation, you just kind of have to take a step back and see what would work best for you at the time and just focus on that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Okay. Is there any skill you wish you had? Like, okay, you already have too many skills for like 100 people. But is there a skill you wish you have, like you had, that you don't currently have?
Do you know the one thing I wish I knew how to like paint or like draw, like actual fine art, like is that what they call it? Like I wish I had that talent, like that skill.
Now, did you wish you had it for like personal reasons, or did you wish you had it so that you can like, I don't know, like do your own album art or like advance yourself in the industry?
I just find art like a lot. I just find it interesting, like, and I feel like people who can do that, it's like I just feel like it's just such a unique talent to have. Like I can barely like draw like
I can even draw a circle.
An orange, so it's like, you know what I mean.
Okay, so now we have a song of the week.
Okay,
so you just give us a song that the song is going to play out at the end of the episode. So it would be nice if it's an independent artist or someone that isn't signed to like a major that would take it down. So just a song that you're feeling, that you've been listening to recently.
Rap Jason by Buju. Yeah.
Come on. Are you the one that mix and master Chop Life Crew?
Yes. Yes.
You did the Lord's work. Anyways, Tim, it was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you. It was fun.
Like, I'm very happy I got to learn a little bit more about you because, like I said, I just see you out and about. I ain't know that much about you, but it was really cool that you chopped it up with us.
Thank you.
Try Yellow Gary under less pressured circumstances and tell me how it is.
I'm definitely a lot more open to it now than I was before coming here.
I'm converting y'all one by one. I'm converting y'all. Ijebu will not be angry, don't worry.
Yes.
But yes, without further ado, we just had Tim Lyre on. Did I say it right?
Almost.
Say it again.
Tim Lyre. Yes.
Tim Lyre. I'm gonna say that 10 times in the mirror today. We just had Tim on Jess Finesse Presents, and without further ado, we are out.